Well, the Supreme Court will deliver judgment in the appeals filed by the federal government and the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, today. Recall that a 5-member panel of the court, headed by Justice Kudirat Kekeriekun, had chosen October 5 after lawyer to the federal government, Tijani Ghazali, SAN, and counsel to Kanu, Mike Ozehobe, SAN, made final submissions. Well, the federal government praised the court to set aside an earlier judgment by the Court of Appeal, which quashed the treasonable felony charge against Kanu and ordered his release on the grounds that he was unlawfully brought back to the country after he jumped bail. Well, stay with us virtually. We have Barrister Evans Ufeli, and in-house we have Dr. Ganiu Oluwashola. Now, let me start with Dr. Ganiu now. What makes this very, very special? This particular judgment today, you know, the Kanu wants the court to uphold the ruling of the appeal court. But what makes it special, really?
Yeah, you could see that they've been on this issue for a while. And people were even of the opinion that immediately the current president comes into power, being a democratic president, is going to release him based on previous judgment. You see, part of the thing is that our inability to obey the court ruling and judgment and throwing it away. So it automatically, at times, makes our court decisions invalid and hold no water. But if we say that the judiciary are independent, at the time when the ruling even came up and says that he should be discharged, they should allow him to go until a court of higher jurisdiction ruled over it. That's what makes it. So it's not that you are holding him against his rule and against the court judgment, which is also, which is not in line with the Constitution of Nigeria, talking about fairness, equity, and justice. Because in this way now, we've discovered that fairness, equity, and justice is not served a la carte. So the guy has been in confinement till date. And because of, even at every point in time, they were saying, oh, the issues of the Biafra, what is happening in Imo State and other states, it's because of him being held captive. And he said, no, it doesn't have hands in it. I think if the court will be deciding today, if there are nothing, they should be able to uphold the former judgment, because they should be able to work on precedents. Unless there are new cases that is being brought on the table. It's just the same thing when we are talking about the presidential election, when it's being moved to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says that we are not going to entertain any new evidences. We are going to only decide based on what the previous court have decided. So if there are anything, we are just going to look at the integrity and the fairness in the decision. If there's anything outside it, then we will decide over it. And the decision was upheld. So I think if it's going to be done right, they should be able to look at the case very well and decide in line with the tenets of our constitution.
All right, now IPOB has said to be hijacked in the southeast, seeing the insecurity in the southeast and a lot of things going on in the southeast. And people are of the opinion that the reason basically is because Nnamdi Kanu has not been released, and even though the Supreme Court has asked that he should be released, yeah? Don't you think if that today, after the judgment, that if Nnamdi Kanu is being released, that it's going to possibly make the Southeasterners happy, that's one, and it's going to maybe reduce the insecurity happening in the Southeast. I mean, Southeast have been in sit at home for up to a year now. Every Monday, people don't go out, barely go out to do their functions because they are trying to obey the sit at home, because Nnamdi Kanu has been in custody for this number of months.
I think it's going to help out, but it's not going to ease it. Remember, these people are being coordinated outside Nigeria. And there was a time the guy that is coordinating them was also arrested and was...
Simon.
Simon. So that was released. So, and this thing has been hijacked by some miscreants, using it as an opportunity to enrich themselves. It's just like when it happens, like this issue of Boko Haram in the and banditry in the northwest, right? When they said, oh, these people are the sponsor of them, using them for political issue, immediately those people, they can't be tame again because they've seen rough. They've seen the reason. Oh, for the few time that we enjoy this, in as much our principal cannot pay us as much as what we see in this, then we will not drop. We will not. We are not going to drop our weapon. We will continue on it until, because we are making more money from it. So though it's going to reduce you to some reasonable aspect, but because it has been hijacked, it is beyond its own authority or decision now. I doubt if it's going to be taken off out of the way completely.
So don't you think, okay.
No, go ahead.
So don't you think that, is it that the southeastern governors are being silent about the issue? I'm talking about sit at home now, because it's believed that if they actually want to stop the sit at home, they can possibly stop it.
Definitely. The thing is just like the political will. Oh, you know, it's just like when Mr. Dele Aleke says, he said there are some powerful people in Zamfara that are taking our gold. They are so powerful in Nigeria. So the question is that, are they so more powerful than Nigeria itself? Or are they more powerful than the Constitution? So there are some powerful base in Imo that are behind these people. Like a saying in my dialect that it is someone behind the masquerade that makes the masquerade to make a lot of noises. So why not take them? Why not culture them? Why not tame them? So these are some people that are making the state ungovernable. It's not that they are powerful than Nigeria. It's just like they are like some people that you can't touch. So the question is that, are they more powerful than the sitting governor? That it cannot, because these are the things. Just start to the central. They give them the military people, and they will be able to take back. They know these people. They can fish them out. They can use them as a deterrent. But the question is that do they have the political will? Did they have the strength? Did they will the power to be able to pick them up and also use them as a deterrent?
All right, then. So thank you very, very much, Dr. Ganiu. Now, we still have Barrister Evans Ufeli, of course, and we know you're there. Well, Barrister Evans, now, what is the difference between Nnamdi Kanu's case and that of Sunday Igboho, who was held in Benin for some time but has been released, and it's even suing the government of the country? What is the difference? Aren't they both successionists?
Yeah, they are both agitating for virtually the same thing, except that one was older than the other. That of seems to be older than that son who at some point wanted to leave the country. Sonbu's own is both secessionism and immigration issues. Okay, before he was trapped at the corner where he was trapped. But the two of them have the same agenda, is for secession. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria have no room for that as we speak. But the African Charter of Human and People's Rights, in section 21, 22, and 23, have made provisions as to how that can be done. And because that law is also part of our law, because it was ratified by our National Assembly and has become part of our law, the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. But you see, these secessionists don't explore the legal options. They think using force is what will grant them that authority. For Nnamdi Kanu before he was even born, that region attempted to use force to succeed, but it didn't work because that's the Biafra war and all that. It didn't work. So history has taught us that the state the monopoly of violence. Okay, and when the state wants to unleash violence, it will do it to its maximum conclusion. So I do not see any difference in the two of them, except that one is older than the other, and it has a long history coming from 1967. Okay, one is just propping up, but it's because the center too is not holding time. It's not, the center is not solid. And that is why these regions are agitating for one or two things and all that.
Oh well, now there's a school of thought that certain individuals in the southeast are working against the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Well, how do you react to that? What's your take on that one?
Yeah, anybody can work against anybody. There are there are people even within the southeast that don't like the struggle or the manner in which the struggle
Has taken.
has taken, the face it has taken. There are people who don't like it. There are people in the southeast too who want him to come out and who want the struggle to continue. But the truth is that he cannot be in detention in perpetuity. The court must give his judgment. The court must give his judgment, and after the judgment, whatever the court decides will be the final on the issue under reference. So, whether there are people who don't want him to come out or there are people who want him to come out, the truth is that the court will make its decision. Those who don't want to come out will give their reasons, whatever it is they want to, but it is not in their authority to instruct any institution to keep holding him. In fact, before now, the court have ruled that he be released. Okay, but for reasons best known to the federal government, they kept him. They kept him exacerbated the issue. They created a situation where someone else took over, and from that taking over, there have been other persons who have hijacked the struggle, using it to cause chaos. Since he was put in detention up to now, the Southeast have not known peace. There's a sit-at-home order. Okay, any day he's going to court, there's also another one. So when you have this issue pervading a section of the country, there's a need for that case to come to a logical conclusion. Whatever the court decides today, will know the fate of Nnamdi Kanu in the days to come.
Do you have any expectations? Any particular expectations as a Nigerian now?
No,
as a Nigerian.
no, we're not trained to preempt the court. I don't know what the judgment is going to be, or whichever way the judgment goes, is going to be for the interest of the defendant in question and Nigeria as an entity.
Doctor, now, I'm not asking you to preempt the court as well. We will not do that. But then, as Nigerians, some Nigerians have expectations. Okay, yeah. We will prefer it goes this way for certain reasons. All right. Do you, as an individual, have any expectations today?
Taking the precedence of the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he is a Democrat, right? I think the decision might favor him. Because, he also, he might not want it to, if he just come on board and say that release him, his predecessor might not be happy. So he might just allow the court take his turn and give the decision to, do not forget also that his right man, Hope Uzodinma, is part of that. And he wouldn't want anything to jeopardize and also make the state ungovernable for him. I think, I'm not predicting, I think it should be decided in favor, or they would just say they'll get a shorty, give hundreds of millions, right, and do that, and give a commitment that this will not be done. That, I assume, should happen.
All right, then, Barrister Evans, now let's get your concluding thoughts on this and the other topic for discussion we had earlier in the day as we make to wrap up now.
On the Nnamdi Kanu's case.
Concluding thoughts on both.
Okay, yeah, my colleagues, they are just mentioned the president. That the president, this is not the president's case. The matter is before the judiciary, before the court.
Yes,
it's the court that will decide. It's not the president. Have no authority.
Sorry to interrupt you. It's interesting. I was going to ask that question, but because of time, it's been said that let the president let him go. So one would wonder: is it the president that is holding him back, or the courts? that has been
The
going on
president
for
let
quite a while.
the president letting him go might be based on the former ruling of the court that he be released on bail, not on the substantive suit. They wanted the court asked that he be released on bail before now, so that he'll be coming from home to stand trial for terrorism, because it was actually bailable. You understand? So this one now is the judgment on the substantive suit, which is the real issue in question of treason and all that. Okay, so the president have no impute or impact, or the president cannot decide this. The one that he was granted bail for, that's when the president could have said, okay, let him go on bail, let him be coming from home to continue his case. But this one, it is the court that will give his judgment.
All right then. All right, thank you very much, Barrister Evans Efeli. And do you have things you want to?
No, you know,
You're welcome.
the way politics works, any decision that the president does not have input, a layman, that the president does not have input in, it will not hold water. They'll get it, because somehow, somewhere there's a connection. It's just like when the sitting president of the House of Senate is coming on board. You understand? He just more, it's number one. Yes, is when we talk about full separation of power, it's outside his jurisdiction. But somehow, somewhere, he did talk to him. He can say that, let's this out, but that's from a layman, not a legal perspective.
All right, then. Thank you very much. We've been speaking with Barrister Evans Efeli and also Mr. Dr. Ganiu Oluwashola, who is the managing partner KJB Professional Services. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you also, the barrister.
Up
We'll
next.
take a break. When we come back, we'll have business,
entertainment, and sports.
And then sports. Stay with us.
It is no news that the administration